Chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shai and all the brothers and the sisters, cooling out, having fun, drinking yayan with Yahweh Shai up in the kingdom. Yahweh Shai's the power. Yeah. Who's the power? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power. Yeah.
More on the Most High, right? So remember that. For everybody online, do me a favor. Send the link to what's his name? Miles. Oh, yeah, I told him I'll send them the link. For brothers and sisters online, if you don't know, if you're tuning in new to class, our class locations are going to be up here. We're in a few different places, and we're in San Antonio, we're in Houston, we're in Rochester, and of course here. So if you want to get classes, you can tune in to us online, ISBHPK on YouTube. All right. Mashaba, the brother Mashaba is still doing the Blog Talk Radio. If you want to check out some of his blog talks, check them out. They're on blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba. All right. He cannot hear? How can he can't hear? It's yeah. Tell him to check this one. Somebody else check that.
I just did, and I could hear it fine.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. It's probably him. Send him the link. Tell him to turn up his phone. Sometimes when they do it on the cell phone, they do it real low. Check out the Blog Talk Radio. Check out our other channels, the Hidden Truth Bible Show, 5 Minutes of Wisdom, the new show. We do all those things on there too. Just different topics. Did you get a chance to see the one where I walked around and I asked women, how do they feel about a woman being submissive to her husband? Yeah, you gotta go to Hidden Truth Bible Show. Hidden Truth Bible Show. And we do different topics. I'm gonna be doing one about the culture, this word culture. And I got another one coming up it's titled, Why Doesn't the Black Woman Have Hair? Dot. So look at those right there. Did y'all come in right on time? So I'm gonna be it's like what the hell? I was thinking about titling that one, Why Doesn't the Black and Hispanic Woman Have Hair? Yeah, I mean, because I know you what you think hair is right now in length, like even the Hispanics, it ain't what it was back in the ancient days. So I don't know. But look out for those. Those are going to be some good shows that's going to be up there on Hidden Truth Bible Show. If you want to get your garments done, go ahead and hit us up. Shalom, we still doing garments. Do we have a garment department?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Garments is still going. The harvest is plenty. And the labor's a few, but it's still kicking, right? We need more sisters to help out with that if you can. And for you sisters that are stepped up to help, we appreciate y'all. What else? Oh, that's what I was going to say. Passover garments. Now's the time to start getting the money in. All right? So now's the time to start getting your Passover garments in. What was the last trooper garment? How much was that? How much was it? $350. $350. So what we're saying is this: divide 350 up times from now. Somebody do that for me. Let's do it right now. Let's help everybody out. Why? Because we don't want you to get caught up in the last month of the Passover trying to get the money in for your Passover garment. So if you divide the 350 up times how many months?
You start in July?
Yeah, we would have started in July. We need it by when?
December would be ideal.
December. So July to December is how many months? 6?
43. 6 months.
6 months? And you divide that up by 350 divided by 46. How much?
I did 43 weeks. It's $8 a week.
58 a month.
It's $58 a month? Okay, so there you go. Now it's easy if you just drop $58 a month and then shoot it over to the sisters. Remember, let me say this. Let me get this straight. I am not over the garment department. I do not have an account connected to the garment department. I don't deal with the money to the garment department at all. I don't see the money in the account. That's really the sisters all the way. All right. So I know sometimes you're thinking like he has to know. I don't. They deal with that. I let those departments deal with their department. That way I can do what I need to be doing, which is teaching. All right. So the sisters Chaazaqya, Shalomaya, they deal with the garments. All right. So anytime if you write up your money, you put it in an envelope, you give it to them, not to us. We take alms, we take offerings, but they deal with all that stuff. All right. So there you go. $58 from now to December. You know what that would mean? It would really help because at the last months, it won't be the sisters working so hard, struggling, trying to worry about their flight and driving, doing armbands and garments and all that stuff. It will help them get the garments done way more early. So I beg you, please help them out, because last year, man, we got so many people going to the Passover now, and so many garments being done, right? It needs to be done early. So I'm going to say that again. We calculated from now to December, we calculated a trooper garment, which majority of the brothers probably are, $350. You divide that by 6 months, that's $58 a month. Instead of waiting the last month and having to try to get $350 in, all right? And then obviously the soldiers and the officers, they're going to know theirs, and they need to start getting theirs in as well, all right? So please help us out. Okay, we're done with that. Fringed up. If you need fringed shirts, headbands, Solomon, are we still doing fringed up?
As of right now, yes.
Okay. As of right now, we're still doing fringed up. Once again, the harvest is plenty, the laborers are few. Listen, sisters, I ask y'all, whoever needs to learn and get better at sewing, help. Go home and sew. Sit down, get your stitch right. That way, Shalomai ain't coming back to me and saying, well, we can't give it to that sister because the quality. One thing we're on, and I know everybody can really attest to this, is quality. We have brothers and sisters that order from us from other schools, and they always give us kudos on our quality. So it's not that we're being extra, it's that we're like, when that stitch ain't right, the stitches ain't right. Right? It ain't right. So we're asking y'all to go home, step up your stitch game so you can help out in those areas. Because as of right now, Fringe Up is going, but because the harvest is plenteous and the laborers are few, we might have to let go of Fringe Up. Yeah. That sucks. I'm going to say it again. Because the harvest is plenty and the laborers are few, we might have to let go of Fringe Up because all the work the sisters are doing and all the departments they're trying to take care of, it's overbearing. So if you say to yourself, well, damn, I want to help. Well, you got to get that stitch game correct. Because we don't send out shirts that are like, right? Or it's the stitch is coming out the corner. People ain't gonna respect that. Then they're gonna get bad quality stuff and they'll be like, damn, it fell apart. So just think about that, alright? So Fringe Up is still going for now. Hopefully we do have sisters that'll step up and help out with that so we don't have to let it go. Go ahead, what do we dealing with next? Alright, Hebrew Academy. Hebrew Academy is after you come to the school for 6 months and you want to move on to being a bishop, a pastor, a deacon, an officer, 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000, whatever it is, right? You partake in Hebrew Academy and there's a certain commitment, fulfillment that you have to do through Hebrew Academy. So anybody want to know about that? You can always ask about that. Go ahead. And the last name is my number, or before, one of the last names, my number, or Chaazaqya's number, is open up all the time. And we're open up for counsel, marriage counseling, whatever it is. Y'all know we've been there. We deal with a lot of it. That's part of the truth. It is open up for y'all, okay? If you want to support, check out Sweet Ambiance. Okay, we do oils, we do stuff like that, bath bombs, body soaps, all those things. What's next? Some of y'all don't say, well, I don't really want to drop alms. Well, you can buy Sweet Ambiance and get something for giving something, right? All right. That we also have Chosen Creations. We do that too. The armbands, we do metal headbands, all engraved products. If you need signs, if you need business cards for your business, if you need any of those things, we do those things. All right, portraits, all that. Gifts, certain gifts, we do that. All right, and then the last thing, if you do want to just give alms to help out the school, to keep the lights running, whatever you want to put in there, you can do that. We say alms because it is alms. From your heart, whatever you want to get, you can do that, all right? With that, we're going to go ahead and deal with questions. Does anybody got any question before we touch on tonight's class? Any question about anything y'all can study on? You know what I'm saying? Nothing? La? Okay. All right. If it's a la, oh, let me shoot that to you, Sheldon. All right. He sent it to me. Okay, all right, okay. All right, so, hit up Miles. He doesn't know how to get online. Show him how to get online. Yeah, he couldn't make it today. Okay. All right, so nobody got any questions. Let's jump into this topic. Marwola, come up here and hand this out. Real quick, we're going to be talking about the Merneptah Stele. We're going to call these archaeology Sabbaths. archaeology Sabbaths. And I already touched on the Merneptah Stone, right? Also known as the Moabite Stone. I touched on the Tel Dan Stone, right? Why is this needed? Well, all of our classes are like spiritual, so we want to make sure we mixing it up and giving y'all a little information on these different archaeological finds. Now, why is this important? Somebody stand up and answer. Why is it? Go ahead, Al. You got it.
I don't got it.
You just stand up. You just move, bro. Oh, no. Why is it important for the archaeology to come out about the Bible? Put the rest on the desk. Yeah.
It lines up with the history.
It lines up with the history. You know how you get a lot of people that come back and give her one too, sis. China. Those things you can go ahead and I think she got one already. You can go ahead and throw some images up there. I didn't get them to you. Just type that in, Google that in, and you'll be able to get them some images online as well to go along with what we're doing. It goes with the history. A lot of people, you deal with people, we just dealt with it at the street speaker last week. One of the cats was like, man, I don't need the Bible. That's not real. Like, so you know what way I had to take him? All the way around through history, bring him all the way back up to show him that the Bible said this was going to happen. The history happened, and it happened to who? The 12 tribes of Israel, right? So then you get into this little archaeology moments and show them what? Bro, even the archaeology shows you, the history shows you that what? The Bible's real. It wasn't made up, right? So this is just another way to get those brothers and sisters that try to discredit or listen to hearsay, don't really study, right? And don't get into the history and the archaeology, right? So this is why this is needed, right? And when I go over these things, I try to simplify it, right? These are just archaeological finds that Esau, the so-called white man, has found that what? Shows that the Bible is real. That the Bible, the people of the Bible are real, right? When we go to the Merneptah Stone, y'all gotta watch that one. If you didn't watch the Moabite Stone one, basics with scriptures. Y'all get that, right? Okay, so it is important. So this stela we're talking about is the Merneptah Stele. And as you see here on the paper I gave you, you got the spelling. Now, why is it in Egyptian? Because Merneptah was a king. And we're not teaching Egyptian history, so I ain't going into that. We're teaching Israel history. But he conquered, and then he did what? Like all these other kings, they write it on hieroglyphs and recorded it that we were there. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. And as you see here, it says, I made it easy for y'all. It says, Israel is laid waste, his seed is no more. Now, why is this important? In 1208 BC, right? Why is this important? Because they said what? What? Okay, good. What else? Why is this important? That we can use archaeology from Egyptian hieroglyphs to show forth about the children of Israel. Why? True. He's right. What else?
A lot of, I don't know if this thing's looking for, but a lot of Egyptologists say that Israel never existed. It's not in their stuff.
He hit it right there. A lot of Egyptologists tried to discredit it and say, oh, there was no people of Israel. Well, you already got this one. Now, remember, there's a list, right? Hey, can I leave my book back? The map book? You left that at the house, or you put it back in the car?
I might have one in mind.
Oh, let me get that book real quick. You got one too? Well, that's fine. At least you see his face. He's like, right? Yeah. Hey, listen. I already told y'all. Y'all need one of these. It's gonna give you a lot of information in here. Remember, the white man did it. Everything ain't on point. The images ain't always on point, but the history and the dates, a lot of it is on point. All right, you gotta say that because cats get in there and then listen to everything the white man's saying, and it's not totally on point. Remember, they don't come from a biblical standpoint all the time. They don't know how to mesh it. That's why before we get into this, I want y'all to let's go to Revelations. And we're going to, every one of Stelas we go over, we're going to go to Revelation. Go to Revelations. And this is one of the scriptures I put last time. Yeah, there's a lot of basics in this book, man. I gave this to Mara Waller the other day. And it kind of makes it easy to summarize, but to study for y'all scholars. Remember, y'all are training to be scholars. Not Bible bullies. Not cats that just learned online from what somebody said, but you actually sat down and researched it yourself. So what I'm doing is just giving you the beginning of it. Then you can go back and do what? Go deeper. Give it a lot of information. Even though in this instance, really, it's not all that deep. It's simply, they found it on this date. Here's the archaeology. This was written by this king, right? And what does it show forth? It shows that the Israelites were an actual people. It wasn't made up by some white dude writing a comic book and it just made it up. No, that we were actual people in history, right? Where was I? Where are we at?
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 16.
Read that.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 16.
Go ahead.
And the earth helped the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the earth opened her mouth.
Right. The earth, how does the earth help the woman? Well, right now it helps the woman with what?
Revealing the secrets.
Right.
Opening up all these lost places that were in antiquity in the Bible time.
There you go.
Find them, take days and time.
There you go. Through the archaeology, through the antiquities, all the stuff Esau that tries to discredit on one end, the Most High created it to where, see, this is where the Christian Gentiles, the Most High put it in them to do what? Say they're believers, right? Why? So all of our information would be destroyed. You see, if they didn't think they had a chance, think about it. What would happen if they didn't think they had a chance? They would have did like Alexander the Great did over there in Egypt, and how they did to the Mayan history. What did they do? They took all that information and burned it all up. Now, we know the devil's a lie. I doubt they burned it all up, but that was the idea that we're going to take all this and burn it all up. And really, when it's hard to go back and find things. What's up?
Most of the writings and books and stuff have been bad.
Right, exactly. They hit all that.
You got to catch them when they're fresh on an archaeological discovery. The truth coming out then, but they start to hide things.
They start hiding. Absolutely, yeah.
Just to add on that, a lot of the stuff is actually in the museums that they don't want us. They're always in the called the basements of of these museums because they always have our art and things of that nature on display. But they just don't actually tell you what it is.
Right.
It's probably right in our face.
Yeah, they're not telling you that. And they're hiding all of it. I noticed that I had to start seeing, I was doing some research on, the Egyptian history, right? And, it goes into all these different Egyptian customs. And I bumped into them talking about Egyptian pornography. Now, Egyptian pornography on the walls, right? Remember, everything was hieroglyphs. But it was crazy because as you start looking at it, they're showing in the background black people. But then when you look at the tombs and everything they supposedly show on TV, it's what? It's like white people. Like they make sure they're showing all the light-skinned Egyptians. But when you look at these images on the walls, it was black people. Now, why is that important? Because if we when in captivity of the Hamites, the Egyptians, right? And Moses was known as the son of the Egyptian. And that means that we had to be what? We had to be dark-skinned, but they're hiding the color of all these other things because they want everybody to be what? Whitewashed. They don't want to show you those things. But it was crazy. I was like, damn, why are you showing these images of these dark-skinned people? You know, and we know what they did to Egypt. Alexander the Great went over there, broke off all the noses, right? And the noses of the images that the speaks that they do show is what? More of a Caucasian, more of a mixture, right? You know what I mean by Caucasian, meaning what we will call Caucasian features. They're not going to show the big noses and all those things, right? So, it's just, remember, archaeology, the earth is helping the women through all this information. Now, for the ones that are faithful, do we need this? We don't need this. Like, I already know the Most High is real. I already know I'm a Hebrew Israelite just by Deuteronomy 28. Right? But this is what makes you a scholar. This is when you can talk to these people and reach them in certain different ways. Right? And so we got to understand about the earth helping the woman is the archaeology. It is ethnology. Right? All the things you're studying is ethnology. It's about a people and their ethnicity, right? The anthropology, the digging up of the sculpture, the old relics, right? They dig up a lot of pots. What's that one called again? It's we gotta look up that one. I keep mixing them up. Huh? It's archaeology, right? That would be the archaeology. Right? But then you got anthropology, ethnology, right? Huh?
Anthropology is the body. When it's body, parts and bones.
Right. So, but remember, they're doing that too. Now, here's the kick with that. That they dig up people and they don't want to attribute them to Israelites. They want to attribute them to other nations. Or Hamites. Right? So, that's the kick with that. That they're not going to tell you everything, right? Yeah.
That's one thing I know they always try to hide people's color. But when you die, the pigments at your knuckles and at your joints, it's going to retain the color.
Yeah.
Your skull is going to retain the color.
Yeah.
So they can try to lie to you, but when that skull is burnt,
yeah,
it's black skin.
Right. And they do that with images too. Like you got a dark forehead, but then you got light skin. You look at the hands and what? The hands are black, but this arm looked like it been bleached.
They try to bleach bones.
They try to bleach it. Yeah, I'm talking about the images also. But read that one more time. Revelation 12 and 18. Did somebody give me Isaiah 14?
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 16.
And
the earth helped the woman.
And the earth did what?
Helped the woman.
So the earth, the archaeology, the anthropology is helping the woman, right? It's showing that there are Israelites, right, that were recorded in the ancient days. There is the information that shows we were a people, and it's not a comic book. Y'all see that? See, you kids supposed to be snapping to that. Y'all supposed to be, damn, okay. All right. That way when you get in school and they're like, oh, that's religion. You can come back and say, no, I ain't about religion. This is my history. The thing is that they took it and used it for religion. You see how much of our information is there? That's why they make it religious. So it can be like, oh, that's not you, that's everybody. Nah, that was a people, right? A lost people. Okay? So read that where you're at, Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 and 18.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 18.
All
the kings of the nations, even all of them lie in glory.
They lie. All the kings lie in glory. We got to get this right. These nations, if it wasn't for the Father putting the Spirit on these people that think they're Christians, bro, there's a lot of these Christians that what? Fight to show the proof. So the Most High had that spirit going. That's why when y'all really understand Romans 11, right? Why it was necessary for the world to hear the word. There was an underlying theme that had to happen, which is what? The nations, the Gentiles, some Gentiles had to preserve it. Because we was in slavery. We was burnt up. You don't have a people. You don't have a nation. Remember that. We're the only exiled nation that doesn't have our information of who we are. So you got to think about this. They lied in their glory. Read.
Everyone in his own house. But
right, everyone in his own house. Now go from there, go to Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. That's why it says this. All these nations, man, lie. They're not there to tell you and help you. They're not there to change your life and edify you. They want you to keep running around like an Egyptian. Oh, I'm Afro-American. I'm black. I'm black. I'm Nubian. Oh, now I'm what? Orishan. I'm Orishan. The brothers over there, the Yoruba tribe, they even come back and tell you, yeah, that's evil. Huh?
Dude told me that in the mall.
Yeah. What?
Dude told me that in the mall. He said that they following all these demonic gods. He's just following a rendition of the Greek gods, which is a rendition of the Egyptian gods, which is a rendition of the Sumerian gods, which is demons. That's literally what the guy told me. So he really just following demons. The Nigerians really don't believe in that. They don't know nothing about psoriasis and Osiris. They don't even study that.
Right. Yeah, but that's what happens when you get into this American mind state. You want to what? Oh, I'm free now. I'm free to serve other gods, other deities, other idols, other doctrines, right? I got to get in touch with my culture. The ones over there ain't even dealing with that. They know it's voodoo. They know it's worship of other angels and powers. And when you get into those Orisha gods, come on, man. All that is just what? Worshiping angels. That's just worshiping angels. Those are just different angels that they worship and give power to. What's up? No, I thought you was going to say something. So this is what y'all have to understand why this information is important. So you can really lock into who you are. Right? And you know, I want to get into more stuff too, you know, but I'm trying to do it with basics, simplify it, and not overwhelm you with information to where you want to research all this other information, but you don't got what down? You don't got this Bible down. You got to get this down first. I was telling the brother the other day, because you got so many brothers now that they'll get caught up into all the other stuff, and they don't have a foundation. Your foundation has to be the Bible. Bro, I didn't start getting into all these things 20-some years later. Why? Because I wanted to know that the Word was true. And now when people come up with different doctrines or different ideas or whatever, or when you're reading these different books and they try to say this or that about the Bible, you know, wait, oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's not what the book says. Oh, they kind of added that, but it don't really edify in that. Like the book of Josephus. We use the Josephus, but we know there's some things that Josephus mentioned that's not in the Bible. So you got to do what? Take it with a grain of salt. You got to be like, okay, the Josephus said this. Different between the Word. Josephus was a historian. The Word says this. You see that? That's one of the most important things y'all have to understand when dealing with all these different books. If not, you're going to get damn lost in the tornado. And you're going to be what? Well, I learned. Well, really what I found is, yeah, we are the Egyptian, and this is, there's a book my dad got. I haven't even got it yet, but the title of it said, Hebrew traditions stolen from the Egyptians. Right? There was a book, well, obviously it's probably trying to say in there that certain things that the Hebrews had, we got it from the Egyptians. But do you know the Bible? Do you know that the Most High gave us the wisdom from the beginning through Adam down to Shem? and that all the nations got from us, we didn't get from them. You see, that's why you gotta know the Bible. If not, you start reading that and saying like, well, it says we're writing this book. I don't give a damn who said that. God ain't said it. The Most High ain't said it. Right? So it's just these little things that we gotta pay attention to. All right. So read that Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10.
Sirach chapter 12 verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
See that when you have to understand that they don't have our best interest. The nations don't have our best interest. They're not thinking, man, let the gods arise. Right? If y'all look at that street speaking from last week, the white girl was telling you. She was saying it. She was like, yeah, I was like, why you don't think they want us to know? Because she was like, they're not going to teach Billy that what? Their God, their Savior's black. Right? Because then they would have to start looking at the black man different. Right? But they already put all these false images up. Not only false images, but false images of what we are. The thief, the bully, the drunkard, the destroyer, right? When they're all of that. Right?
That's right.
See, so this psychology game is real. That's why the Most High said, do what?
Never trust thine enemy.
Right. That means this. A lot of information, you got to go back to the scriptures. Yeah, we can deal with dates. The dates is fine, because you always can check the dates. You know what I mean? Things like that. But when you get into them trying to formulate the doctrine, they can't do that. You see that? You got to be careful with that. All right. Go ahead.
For like as iron rusted,
Right.
so is his wicked.
Right. You see? And that's what we got to remember, that they wipe it, right? They try to make it look clean, but what happens? That rust comes right back. Right? Because when it all comes down to it, they're not telling our people. They don't care about telling our people. They don't care about fighting for our people. You know what I mean? What did I tell that white girl? I said, listen, well, help us out. You know what I mean? You think she's going to help us out? You see? You see what I'm saying? Right? We'll see. All right, Susie, if you're listening, better be dropping those arms, helping out. Go to Job 13 and 4. Serious, man. They always profess that they're not racist, right? You know what? If you left it up to them, they would tell the truth. Well, then what you doing? Right? Job 13 and 4.
Job chapter 13 verse 4.
Go ahead.
But ye are forgers of lies.
Right?
Ye are all physicians of no value.
And that's what the wicked do and does. That's what they does. They're forgers of lies. And we got to remember what the nations are doing. Right? Go to Proverbs 29 and 12. Proverbs 29 and 12. And we're gonna go into the Merneptah Stele, refreshing on the date. You know, it's kind of simple, so I wanted to put these scriptures together first. Go ahead, read that.
Proverbs chapter 29 verse 12. If a ruler hearken to lies.
Right. If a ruler hearken to lies, what is America known for? What is these kings known for? Lies. He said the nations, they what? Lie in their glory. They lying, man. That's why even when we go to the Merneptah Stele, you're going to understand what I'm saying. Go ahead. Read.
So if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked.
Right? As a leader is, so are his officers. So this is what you got to watch. Right? We always talk about this. Right? But that's, you talk about, look at their nation. Look at their officers. They're what? Corrupt. Judges, corrupt. They swear they're fighting for some justice. We're doing it according to the code. Your code, the code that they have set up, is not true righteousness. Y'all see this? Okay, one more. Job 12:16. Job 12 and 16.
Job chapter 12, verse 16.
Go ahead.
With him is strength.
Read.
And wisdom.
Read.
The deceived and the deceiver are his.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You know what this means? That, go ahead. Go ahead.
It means if you deceive the Most High, put that in. The Most High deceive you. Deceive and deceiver are his.
Right. Well, what it's saying is this, that the Most High has everybody on lock. You think you're doing something deceptive on this end, trying to cover up information on this end. The Most High is having the righteous leak it on this end. He's putting the spirit, the thought into these cats. Well, we gotta stand for Jesus. We gotta stand for our Lord and Savior, right? And what are they doing? They leak the information. They show what information is true and what they're hiding. So the deceiver I always say it. Stop tripping about the Illuminati in their little circle jerk sessions. Nobody gives a damn about that. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, we knew the devil's been up there, right? In high places doing what? Lying, deceiving, corrupting, right? All the things they're doing, right? But we don't got to worry about him. Fear not how the wicked, how does it go? Fear not how the wicked shall be destroyed, but how the righteous, this is paraphrasing, how the righteous shall be saved. Right? We're worried about us, getting us together. So the Most High has all of that unlocked. Nobody's escaping. Right? Luke 8, verse 17. Nobody's escaping. The Most High got the deceiver and he got the righteous revealing secrets. Read this.
Luke chapter 8, verse 16.
Go ahead.
No man, when he hath lighted a candle.
Verse 17.
Verse 17. For nothing is secret that not be made manifest.
Read it one more time.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest.
So, what does that mean? That they had a lot of this information. Right? We just barely get it. But what do you got to do first? You got to establish the lie. Why was Satan good? Why was he potent in what he did? He mixes the lie with the truth. Right? He spins you, right? And that's what this is about. We got to let the lies come out first. That way when the truth comes out, now you got a battle in your mind. Well, that's can't be real. But it's like playing in your face truth. But now you're what? You call it the good evil and the evil good. Right? The truth, the lie. Right? And the lie, the truth. So, know this. The Most High is a revealer of secrets. And that's why the Most High is, in these last times, revealing all this archaeology, anthropology, this history. Right? Because the Most High is showing us that what? Let God be true and every man a lie. Okay? Y'all see that? Right. So when you go, I kind of made it easy for y'all. I printed it out. I know I'm going to see some of these on the floor. That's cold, man. After class, you're going to be stepping on them. But this Merneptah Stele was written by Ramses the Great. Right? I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me say that again. This was written by the 13th son of Ramses the Great. So I don't know if it's on here. If it goes into that, I mean, you can highlight it and find it, but I'm just giving you little side notes. This Merneptah Stele was written by the 13th son of Ramses the Great. You're supposed to be writing that down. I'm not going off of this. This is just side notes. I just printed this for y'all. It's for y'all to look over. I'm not going off of this. This is something that I didn't even read out in here. I think they're giving dates in here. They're giving dates. Well, maybe they do get into it.
It says,
What?
it says in point number 3,
Uh-huh.
the back of the first page.
Right.
Uh,
It says the Merneptah Stele is a record of the pharaoh who was the son of Ramses II.
Ramses II, right. But he was supposed to, he's the 13th son. He was the 13th son of Ramses the Great. Right? Ramses II. Okay? So, y'all got that, right? Okay. And, okay. All right. So, this was recorded in 1208 BC. So, what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to go to my little timeline map for y'all. And we're going to talk about 1208 BC. 1208 BC, that's all the way back here. You're talking about, so on here they got 1000 BC is the United Kingdom of Israel, 1208. 1208 BC. Of course, you're dealing with during the Exodus. And it tells you right here. And remember, when you look up dates, there can be discrepancies. Because like even here, I'm looking on this timeline. Right here, and it got some Merneptah Stele. This is why y'all gotta get one of these. These are only $20 on Amazon. It's cold. But it says here, Merneptah Stele 1237 to 1222. So somewhere along that line, right? That the Pharaoh Merneptah's victory stele mentions Israel for the first time in non-biblical history. Okay? 1208. Yeah, and that's during, I guess through this time I hear they got somewhere in Ramses II. Exactly. I mean, it makes it easy for y'all to study, for you to know a little bit of history on these things, and then that gives you more ways to get in and study. You know, I'm not saying you got to go deep into Egyptology, but knowing the little basics is good. Because nowadays, what are our people caught up into? They're caught up into thinking they're Egyptians, right? So reading some books on the Egyptians and Egyptology and the Egyptian gods, right? You see how damn silly and defiled they are. But what do you have to have down? The Bible. Your history first. Your power. Y'all get that? Okay. So the Merneptah Stele, 1208 BC. It says here. Okay. He ruled from 1213 to 1203 BC. He ruled from 1213 to 1203 BC. Okay? Alright, now, the Merneptah Stele was discovered by good old Esau, Flandres Petrie, in 1896. Yes, ma'am.
Was it Ramses' son who ruled?
Was it what? So, yeah, this was the son of Ramses II. And it says it was the 13th son. The what?
It tells you on the 5th.
If you go to this paper on the 5th line, I know y'all online ain't getting this, but at least giving y'all these dates. Where does it say?
It says, Merneptah was the son of Ramses II, who reigned as Pharaoh from 1213 through 1203 BC.
Right, you see how the dates, sometimes certain historians and archaeologists, sometimes it'd be off. That's discrepancy, but it doesn't matter. We know the point is what? It's still, he comes through the line of Ramses II, right? And this was his conquest during that time. Okay? You got some more?
Just on 12:5, this is where he commissioned the creation of that stele.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is line number 5, point A. It says in 1205 BC, Merneptah commissioned the creation of the Israel stele, as it is called, which contains the first reference in Egyptian records of the word Israel.
Right. And it's also known as the victory stele. It's also known as the victory stele because he conquered, or he so-called conquered, Israel, Syria, and there was one more. I thought I wrote that down. Okay. This accounts of the king Merneptah in the 5th year of his reign campaigns against the Libyans, Canaanites, and Israel. Okay? Libyans, Canaanite, and Israel. Okay? So, this is his record of, look, I conquered them. Now, remember I said they lie in their glory? Let me see if it's on here. Oh, it is right here. When it says here, Israel is laid waste, his seed is no more. Listen, if you let Trump tell it, he's the greatest president on earth. Listen, if you let George Washington tell it, he was what?
The greatest.
Right? Now, forgive me for this, but who so-called freed the slaves? Right. But if you let him tell it, he what? He did that, right? If you let their history tell it, what? They're the best, right? When it's all said and done, if America was to last, right, they would be what? The greatest kingdom on earth that what? Fought for justice, truth, and the American way.
All over the world.
Right? They freed countries, not oppressed. No. The CIA doing things in all the other countries. No, that's not. Don't read about that. Right? The diseases they tested on other nations. No. Don't worry about that. Right? Well,
The diseases they tested on this thing.
there you go. What they did to the North American Indians, the Seminole Indians, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas. Right. No. We're the greatest nation. We're the best. We know America did some evils, but look at how much we changed, really. Right. Oh, they spin your ass all the way up.
Still shooting people down the streets.
You know when kids, you ever play that game, kids, where they spin you around, and then you gotta go get them? That's how they do you. That's how they do the black and Hispanic and Native American man. That's why I wanted to show you where it says they lie in their glory, right? Because he put us on there and recognized that we're people, but try to act like what? Oh yeah, we wiped them out. Knowing damn well that didn't happen. Y'all see that? So this is discovered by Flandres Petrie in 1896, right? And you got Merneptah in the 5th year of his reign campaigns against the Libyans, the Canaanites, and the Israelites. Okay? And you see it right there, the little hieroglyph of them saying Yasarel, or Israel, right? And I'm going to tell y'all this. You want to know the kicker? This is why you got to know the scriptures and you got to have faith and you got to believe in the word. Do you know there's archaeologists that say, oh, that wasn't Israel. Those writings meant somebody else. Did y'all know that? Yeah. So when you research, why I don't mess with a lot of this history? Because you always got two sides. You always got the ones trying to bring out the truth and the ones bringing out the lies. But what's the middle thing that keeps us on the right path? The word. Let God be true and every man a lie. Y'all see that? So we knew that Israel was never done away with, right? Go to John 1 and 11. Israel was never done away with. Yes, sir. I'm going to precepts on it right now. You're going to go to Jeremiah? 31. Yeah, that's why you know I'm going there. Stop letting. We're going there. We're definitely going there. First and foremost. But I'm gonna start out here first. Go to John 1 and 11.
John chapter 1, verse 11.
Right, like I said, there's not, when we deal with this stela, it's basically a stone that the King Merneptah recorded his conquest, and we were in there. But being in there is very important because at one time, Israel was a what? That was made up. There was no such people. We haven't found nothing with the information, so they weren't a people. But see, that's what these Misha stones and all the stelas are about. To show y'all that, look, the white man, America, that all these archaeologists, anthropologists are liars, right? That ain't telling the truth. All right, go ahead, read that, John 1 and 11.
John chapter 1, verse 11. He came unto his own.
Right.
And his own received him not.
Right. Say, yes, there was a lot of our people that didn't receive the Father, didn't receive the Son. Right? Go ahead.
But as many as received him.
But as many as what?
Received him.
But as many as did receive him. See, everybody didn't reject Christ. Everybody wasn't wicked. All the Israelites ain't wicked. There's a chosen. There's a certain elect that will hear, that are fed up, that are not done away with. Yeah, there's a lot that's going to be done away with, but not all of them. Right? There's a lot of our people that ain't going to wait to the truth. They want the lust of the flesh, the pride of this life, and the way of this world more. And they're going to get what's coming to them. They ain't going to get it. But there's many of us that are still here willing and see. This world has nothing for us to offer, nothing to offer us. It has nothing to offer us. But I'm showing you that not all Israel was done away with. Right? Not all Israel rejected the Father. Because that's what they tell you. Oh, the Israelites were, the Jews rejected Yeshua. Right? No, we didn't. There was the wicked rejected it, right? Go ahead, but verse 12 again.
But as many as received him.
But as many as received him, go ahead.
To them gave he power.
To them gave he power. So y'all see that, right? As many as received him, he gave power to. Y'all get this, right? Go to Jeremiah 1 and 5. Let's reiterate that. Let's reiterate that. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
Go. What?
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
The Most High knows who His chosen is. The Most High knows the number. The Most High knows His people. He knew us from before. And there's been an elect always chosen. No matter what generation. All the way from Adam, all the way to Noah, all the way, yeah, you're like, yeah, well, that's a small portion. Well, but it was a chosen people. Noah was chosen, right? All the way through the line of Shem, right? I mean, it started with the Adamites. What about Cain and Abel? Most High had chosen, right? Seth, going through down that line, right? Then you think about Mesopotamia during the time of Abraham, and it said Abraham was the one man. Think about that. The Most High don't deal with numbers. He don't deal with numbers. If you go and look at it, he doesn't deal with numbers. He deals with what? Righteousness, right people, and it can be a small portion, right? So it ain't about numbers, because like we always say, jokingly, if it was about numbers, who wins? Creflo Dollar. Right? And we were talking about, man, you got the truth based on how many numbers you got. Creflo wins. Joel Osteen beats all the Israelites. Right? But it ain't about numbers. It's about righteousness, right? And we know that the righteous were what? Few. Right? So, go ahead, Rihanna.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
Go ahead.
And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
You see that? I ordained thee a prophet to the nations. So, the Most High has always set aside prophets, chosen, right? Single men, women. Look at Judith, right? When the men lacked courage, what did the Most High do? Judith, right? What was the other sister? Deborah, right? When Barak was what?
He was weak.
He was timid. You know what I mean? I don't want to break Barak totally down, but he was definitely timid. Deborah was like, look, let's go. So there were sisters. I want to say that too, because a lot of times you women, you think, damn, you know what? I don't have to. I can't bear it. No, you can. You know what I mean? You can. But you know what? It takes you locking into the Father on a deep level to understand you can do it just as better or at best what a man can do. You gotta see that. Because if you thought like that, you and your husband will be a damn super team. But the problem is now is what? You doubt yourself, you doubt your path, you doubt the way, and therefore it's like, damn, I'm less. You don't have to be that. So the Most High chose men and women, right? A small elect, right? We'll go to John 17 and 12.
John chapter 17, verse 12.
Read that.
While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name.
Right. You see that? While I was with them in the world, I kept them. And we know at this time he's talking about who? The 12 apostles. He's talking about the secret 70.
That's right.
He's talking about Israel, the chosen, the elect.
Come.
Right?
Come.
Because he had the 12 apostles, and he had a secret 70. It was like, all he do is mission. He says the 70. Like, where'd that come from? Right? But he had men working, women working.
That's right.
Doing his work. Right?
That's right.
The Most High never did away with his seed. So just to show you that when the scriptures say they lie in their glory, we're bringing out the archaeology, but there's a lie mixed in here too. Right? And we know what gotta be true. The word is true. That part is a lie. Okay. You identified that the people of Israel were there, but you definitely didn't do away with them. Right? Go ahead, read.
Those that thou gavest me, I kept. And none of them is lost.
You see that? None of them is lost. Go ahead.
But the son of perdition.
But what?
The son of perdition.
Yeah, because there always got to be one. Right? There always got to be one, right? You ask why. That's their path. You don't gotta be Judas. Remember that. You don't gotta be Judas, but somebody's gonna fulfill the path. Right? Somebody's gonna fulfill it. Right? That's like, it goes back to, did the Most High make Judas do it? Or did Judas' lust draw him away?
His lust drew him away.
Right? I always think about it like this. Imagine these empty boards behind us. You got one 144,000, and you got the other, the one, the 2/3. Right? It's empty, right? The Most High gave you the choice to fulfill which one you want to be. Right? Which one do you want to be? You ever notice some people? I guess I'm just off. I guess I'm just wicked. Maybe I can't get it. Right? Who told him that? Not Yahweh. not me. Not you. You be over there like, look, you can do it. You can do it. Kicking your legs up like, Yahweh Shai is the power. The hell is the power, right? You can do it. And they're like, no, can't do it. I must be evil. I got to be evil, right? What's up?
It's like some people are just predestined to do certain things that's out of the spirit. So certain people are just predestined to do it. They're just born to do it.
But because they want to, remember what Wisdom of Solomon says. Remember what James says. They're drawn away by their own lust. The Most High don't tempt with evil. It says evil men, they what? They called it to them. They made it their friend. They wanted to be their buddy at night. They roll over and who's there? With big black ass lips. Satan. You understand? Right there rolling over, puckered up, tonguing them down. Right? Bro, they want to do that. You see that? So we got to remember the Most High has an elect. He has a chosen. He never forgot them. Go to John 6:37.
St. John chapter 6, verse 37. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me. And
what?
All that the Father giveth me.
All that the Father giveth me. Go ahead.
Shall come to me.
Shall do what?
Come to me.
Are y'all seeing this? That's crazy, ain't it? It's so dope. I love the scriptures. I love it. Bruh, you don't gotta fight. You don't gotta dance. I don't gotta put a rope around your neck. I don't gotta choke you out to be in the spirit. Right? He said what? They come to me. Right? We went over that the other day. His sheep follow him whatsoever he go. Right? They come to him. Why you gotta go extra? We gotta go into do all the acts. You know what I mean? You gotta scare you into believing. Not the chosen. Not the chosen. Right? I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about what motivates women. And when is it at times when women see that the Father is real? And the person checked me and said, it was a good check. Said, well, that's how women learn. I'm like, what do you mean how they learn? They learn by kids being taken. They learn that way. And I had to sit back and I'm like, damn, dude, but you don't got to learn that way. But they were like, well, that's how women learn. It's checks like that where a sister's like, damn, the Most High is checking me or he's showing me something, right? He's doing something to me. And at first I was like, no, you don't gotta go through that. And obviously that's right. You don't have to go through that, but how does he check women? What things they deal with, right? family, household, right? Situations that they deal with. Their body, like, because when you think about a woman, like, they rationalize different, right? Like the stuff, the way we learn and the way we process. Like a woman can look at you like, I don't get it, and I'm not trying to get it. Whatever, right? They can look at you like that and not give one shits about what the hell you're talking about. And like, listen, they ain't thinking about God, the angels, Yahweh Shai, thermonuclear destruction. Their eyes shall never their holes, and they're not thinking about none of that. They're just thinking about, yeah, I'm not on that. Right? So the process is different. But guess what? The Most High is still enlightening, grabbing them, getting them. You know what I mean? The ones that really hear it, it's in their soul. They're not going to have to go through all of that. All the shenanigans, right? When you heard the truth, how did it affect you? And is the truth in you? Or is it hiding? Huh? Are you on the Israelite bandwagon? Raise your hand. I know I'm not going to get a hand raised, but I'm just asking. Right? Israelite. But is it really in you? Or you just jumping on the wave? Right? You ride that wave. What? You got a hand raised? Okay. Right.
Feels good.
Right? So, remember, check this out. Read it again.
God. And all slot. Verse St. John chapter 6 and verse 37.
But just on what you were saying, I ain't gonna cut it. But just on what you were saying, you really don't have to hype somebody up. Just on that, you don't because this is good information to know. It's necessary being a scholar or a believer of the Bible. We just on the spectrum of you just relearning who you are and what happened to you thousands of years ago and now. You got to refresh your mind and cleanse all the lies that America fed you, because they almost did us like they almost kept us in homeschool because we don't know what's going on in the world. And nothing wrong with homeschool. But just I'm looking at it from the spectrum of how America did it to us in a negative sense. Where they just kept us away from learning all the true history, that we was the kings and queens in the Middle Ages and all the art, even here. We just learned the black man built the White House, he did the architecture for it, he built the clock, all those lies. But it's like you should have this belief in just where you should see where the Most High took you from. Like where you came from in the world and the people you was around and how you were treated. From those people to now where you're like, damn, you feel the difference. You know the difference. You don't just feel the difference. Because you see it in the actions, you see it in the deeds, you see it in the consistency, you see it in the consistency. What I mean by that is the effort. The effort, not just doing it every day, but like the effort when it's done in the moment. You see that. You shouldn't need a piece of artifact from 1,000 years ago that's dusty as hell to make you believe that the word is true.
There you go.
But if you need it, it's here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you have some sort of doubt, the earth will help you. And now it's there. It's like, well, damn, if that's true, if the history is right there, well, what about that verse that told me if I don't get it right? That you was quoting them all, the melting, the fire, the thermonuclear warfare. What about that? That must be true. If that happened thousands of years ago happened exactly how it said in the Bible. And we know they twist the truth. We know that people, their kings, they lie in their glory. So we know that there's some mixed history that is given. But the Bible will give you the cleansing. It's going to clean your mind out. But just stay the point that you want to believe. Like, stop fighting against it, but believing. The fight that's making you disbelieve is your battle. And your battle is making you do the I don't care. You saying the right things. I know it's true, but I'm not trying to hear nothing you're saying. Whether it's a brother or a sister, you just canceling out all the wisdom that's being given to you. You don't want to do that. You don't want to slip up because we don't know when that day gonna come. And all that stuff, all that hoopla, the show, the charades, the dancing, the shucking and jiving, the jumping back and forth, the hoop, the hula hoop, all that, it's of no profit. Because you just fighting against your salvation. Can I get more verse?
Yeah.
Jonah chapter 2 verse 8. This is one of my favorite verses. Jonah chapter 2 and verse 8.
Jonah chapter 2 verse 8.
You know what's so important about that verse is he realized this about himself. This is what he was doing. Read.
They that observe lying vanities.
The lying vanity is like a fruitless thought, a fruitless imagination, something that doesn't have no benefit at the end. Think about a behavior,
A way that
you're acting right now currently that's not benefiting you, but it's making you more sick, more depressed, more angry, more frustrated. You're observing the lying vanity. You're observing thought processes in a mindset that's destructive and is deceiving you, and you cause them more pain. Read.
Forsake their own mercy.
No, read that again.
They that observe lying vanities. Forsake their own mercy.
And the observation is you just sit there and you meditate on it.
Oh, wow.
You sit there and you just think on that thought process, that feeling, that emotion, on what you perceive on how you were treated.
He was waiting for that one.
How the situation dealt with. Right? But now you're observing that lie, that vanity, you forsake your own mercy, your opportunity. Like it'd be like moments, opportunities the Most High gives us to change, to grow, to come out of a specific battle that we deal with, a specific mindset, a level of pride, a level of doubt, a level of envy, a level of any doubt you're dealing with. Like it could be a thing, it could be something small. You changing your diet. I'm on that right now because I'm doing that right now. But even something small like that, because what does it breed when you take away just you doing the carnality aspect of it? It breeds a certain level of discipline and self-control. And you can apply that to another area of life. So don't waste the opportunity that the Most High has given you. And I'm talking to myself as I'm saying it to y'all. Don't waste it by observing lying vanities. The lie that your mind is giving you, because can I know? Just one in Jeremiah, the hardest eating secret.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Read this. I think it's Jeremiah 17.
Jeremiah chapter 17.
Oh, it is.
Verse 10.
I know he know.
Chaazaqya verse 9.
Oh, okay.
The heart is deceitful above all things.
We all gotta recognize that. It comes to that realization. Our heart is always wanting to deceive us. He said eagerly. That means it's always wanting to deceive us. It always makes us want to give up. It always makes us want to see things our way. It always makes us want to stop, right? But the Most High is saying what? Read.
The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked.
And it just has this inclination, this want, this ever want feeling to deceive you. That's what it wants to do. So why are we listening to our hearts? Our hearts never profited us. Our hearts kept, like I said the other day, your heart kept you on this hamster wheel. It keeps brothers and sisters in a hamster wheel. We be wondering, why can't I overcome this battle? Why can't I overcome this weakness? Why can't I overcome a thought process or a fear? That's been the consistent conversation we've been having recently about fears. Why can't we overcome the fears? Well, it's because you constantly meditate on the negative thoughts, like the things that you're telling yourself you can't do. Go ahead, Ryan.
You dwell on that negativity so much, you become accustomed to it. It's like you become intimate with it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Huh?
No, you saying it right. I didn't know you was done right.
Yeah, that was it.
Right. Yeah, but you just got one more. Proverbs 29:25. Proverbs 29:25, because it's good that it bring out the history too. It's good, it's needed. You know, we're relearning our history, and this is a powerful verse if you taking it in the correct way. These are all powerful verses, but this one is a powerful verse because it speaks to the present, the mindset of a person. Read.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare.
Your fears Your fear is bringing you into a trap. Think to the first verse, Jonah 28. You're observing the lion vanity. The lion vanity that's the fear. That's the fear. You're observing that, and it says it is bringing you to a trap. And you slipping up. You're making these mistakes. And you get yourself into situations that could have been avoided if you just trusted in the Most High. If you just believed. If you didn't needed a piece of history just to solidify that the Most High is real. Right? For the brothers and sisters out there that need that. What else does it say?
But whoso putteth his trust in the Lord.
Why don't you just try out the Lord? Try something different. Try something different for a change. Like, you've been doing the same thing over and over, and it obviously hasn't been working. That's the crazy part. Obviously it hasn't been working. But it's so easy because you're in love with that feeling. Like you said earlier, you're in love with that feeling. You're in love with that state of mind because you have control over that. So like, you think you have control over that world that you have in your mind. And it's deceiving. But that's why it's so important that you recognize that what? The Most High is the one to be trusted. Your mind, your heart, your feelings that you're observing, you need to let that go. Because it's causing you more pain, more confusion, right? And you trying to get, what's crazy is, thinking about it, we trying to get our life on track. Like, we coming into the knowledge, right? You knowing that the world is filthy and garbage. You saying to yourself, man, I'm 30 years behind if you're 30 years old. I'm 45 years behind. I'm 50 years behind. I'm 60, 20, 15, 18, 19, 20 years behind. 24 years behind. Right? I'm playing catch up. Why don't you stop focusing on the days in the past? The old world, the old life. Because that got you stutter stepping on your growth. That's got you stutter stepping on changing. Because you're observing vanity. Vanity being fruitless desires. Desires that have no benefit, no profit. It don't profit you, it don't profit the people around you, right? You step out of this safe haven, you're gonna die. Literally. You want to say it in a soft way, but like people literally dying right now. Like literally. Like the news out of this state changed from 2 years ago. You used to see car accidents every day in the news out here. Now it's death. I don't remember the last time, from 2 years ago, the last time I seen somebody die and get robbed with the news popping up by Lynn. Now you see it. People dying. You got deaths and murders happening by Lynn, the Lynn, Virginia Beach area. You didn't see that 2 years ago. But now it's here. But people are dying. But why are they dying? Read it from the top again, Ariel.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare.
Because they give into their fear. They give into the fear. When the Most High sent that voice of reason to make them slow down from their path, when wisdom was walking with them in their crooked path, they didn't listen to it. They listened to the fear more. They believed more in the fear because the fear made them feel, the fear allowed them to feel the way they wanted to feel. Read that?
But whoso putteth his trust in the Lord.
Just try it. Like, just try the 6 feet. Try to jump into 6 feet and see you'll stand, you ain't gonna drown. That's what the Most High is saying, like, just try it. Because what is he trying to do for each and every one of us over here? By revealing the history, but then even showing us how to apply the Bible and what we did in life previously that affected us. Go to Proverbs 16:23. Proverbs 16, verse 23.
Proverbs.
Hold on. 16 and 20.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 20. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good.
That's where he's trying to lead you. He's trying to get you to that point where you're spiritually mature enough to handle yourself. But because you developed enough of a bond with him to where now what? He knows you locked in. You know you locked in. Because you stopped trusting that lying vanity. But that's why the history is important. Because why? Because if you didn't believe in the Bible, the Most High is like, okay, I got some history for you, but then I'm going to take you right back to the book. Why? To show you that you can't escape. There's no escape. You're going to have no excuse to say why, oh, the Bible ain't real. I couldn't believe the Bible because I know that there was no history. There ain't no history out there. I couldn't change my product because the history was that history was out of date. That date was 20,003 years old, and they said 45,003 years old. Well, the Bible already told you, believe him, believe God, don't believe men.
God.
But you know that history is out there. You know that it's facts. It said it happened. The dates, you can get mixed up and all that. But you know that it happened. And you know that the book is real. And God is just trying to teach you how to handle things. What?
He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good.
He's trying to just make your life easy. He's trying to release you from the anxiety. He's trying to release you from the pain. He's trying to release you from the confusion. He's trying to release you from the doubt. Right? He's trying to release you from all those things. But how can he do that when you're not even doing the first step? Tasting and seeing that the Lord is good. Okay, I got anxiety issues. Well, I got anxiety issues because I be overthinking things, because I be self-conscious of myself. So damn, what do you say? We know we are of the Most High, the whole world lying in wickedness. That's what it said yesterday, right? Well, dang, we know we the sons of God, but damn, the Most High is the real power. The whole world lying in wickedness. They cover themselves in things that it's supposed to make them confident, but it's really not making them confident. It's having a negative effect. But then I see that they're in the Bible, and we got this history out here that's showing that the Bible is real, right? I see that when they applied the Spirit, it worked for them. Read.
And whoso trusteth in the Most High, happy is he.
Happy is he. That anxiety dies. That depression dies. That wrestle between I want to give up my pride, or I want to give up my ego, but I don't, it dies. Because that voice gets lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Because you start what? You start fighting against. You start fighting against that feeling. But the Most High is showing you, if you need a little history, the earth will help the woman. If you need a little history to alleviate your mind, to make you see how real the book is, well, there's the Merneptah Stele. There's the Dan Tale Stele. Right? All these different archaeological evidences and finds, right? They're out there. Research it. Open up a book. Right? Take the time. Take the time to actually open up the book and read and build a bond with the Most High yourself.
That's right.
Not just in the classroom, right? Not just I'm sitting having a study session with my husband and my kids, right? Not just those little moments. Not just my dad taught me, the Bible told me God is real, the people in the world is trash. Right? Not because they're just trash, but because they live a lifestyle that is trash. Right? Don't just go off of those things. Don't just. So I'm not saying don't listen to those things. Don't enjoy those things. Don't learn from those experiences. But don't just go off of that. Like literally study. Study to show yourself approved.
That's right.
To the Most High. And this is your opportunity with this class to gain the information that you can take home and study to show that the Most High, you're trying to become approved. You're trying to be that 144,000, that 1/3. You're not trying to be a part of the 2/3. This is you just gaining the knowledge, but now the Most High is trying to transition you into the Spirit. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, right on point. I know he went off on a point showing y'all where your brain's supposed to be at so we won't fall out of the line of the chosen. But let's jump back on the one of the main point, okay? Because we're talking about on the Merneptah Stele, the comment was made, Israel is no more, right? So we're going through the scriptures showing what? According to the scriptures, that's a lie. The Most High has always chosen, prepared, preserved a certain elect. Y'all get that, right? What was the last scripture we were on?
John chapter 6, verse 37.
Right. John 6:37. Read that one more time. You're going to read down to verse 40.
John chapter 6, verse 37.
Mm-hmm.
All that the Father giveth me shall come to me.
Uh-huh.
And him that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out.
Right, you see that? So the Most High is not going to cast out the ones that came to him. So the Most High always had an elect, man. The Most High always had a chosen. He ain't never did away with Israel. Right? This is what we got to remember. And he's never going to do away with Israel. That's the promise. I don't know. What's up? Something's up with that mic? You keep going on and on?
Yeah, it's a charger.
Oh, it's charging?
I don't know where the charger at.
Okay. All right. Go from there. Go to, read down. Read down more.
Verse 38. For I came down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me.
Go ahead.
And this is the Father's will.
Go ahead.
Which has sent me.
Read.
That of all which he hath given me, I shall lose nothing.
You see that? So the Most High hasn't lost none. Yahushua, his job, he came and he instilled this word in the elect. And we hear it. Right? We hear it. Right? Go ahead. You're going to read out verse 40.
But shall raise it up again at the last day.
That shows you that the Most High hasn't lost none. Even when you die, the word is sown in you. And that seed is going to sprout. Right? When you hear that trump, it's going to shoot right up. Go ahead.
And this is the will of him that sent me.
That
everyone which seeth the Son,
right,
and believes on him,
right,
may have everlasting life.
Right. Check that out. Go ahead.
And will raise him up at the last day.
Right. Go to 1 Kings 19:18. 1 Kings 19:18. Just showing, man, that you know what? The children of Israel ain't going nowhere. The children of Israel ain't going nowhere, ain't went nowhere. Read that.
1 Kings chapter 19, verse 18. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel. All the knees which have not bowed unto Baal.
See? And now to this day, right now, it don't matter what it looks like. Most High showed me. The elect ain't going nowhere. Right? And that's what his point was, right? Get your mind right according to the gospel. But this is something that's been resonating with us for the last few months. It's like, it's too much what? Shenanigans. It's like, for the chosen, what is the scripture? I think it was Zion or Chaazaqya quoted. We have piped, we have danced. Right? It's enough of piping and dancing, man. Y'all have to know if the word is in you. Right? And let that word be glorified. You understand that? But all the piping and the dancing and the like repetitive topics that we have to go over, it's in you. Let it shine. Let the Most High work through you. Right? Or maybe it's not in you, right? Only time will tell. But the chosen is what? Never going nowhere. The elect is never going nowhere. No matter what king or what people lie and deceive, right? Or try to say, oh, the children of Israel are spiritual now. They're spiritual people, right? I'm a spiritual Chinese man. I'm a spiritual, they're doing that now. You know, I identify as a, right? As a what?
Skinny man.
Yeah, I identify as a skinny man. You know damn well you're chubby, right?
That's right.
Go ahead.
And every mouth which have not kissed him.
Right. See, there's a lot of us that will not bow to Satan. Right? It don't matter your battles. You're going to get up and you're going to keep fighting. You're going to keep pushing. You're going to deny the flesh. It is what it is. Yeah, that's why it's easy when a brother does give you a scripture. Iron does sharpen iron, right? What happens? It's that easy. You're like, man, come on. That's what I needed. Just a reminder, right? But it ain't always your what? You're hanging on by a thread. The chosen ain't hanging on by a thread, y'all. Nah. We move it and we what? You move it and sometimes you look, oh, you trip, you stumble, you look back, you're like, damn, I didn't realize I stumbled there, and the brother's there, oh, well, I got you, brother. And then you get up. It ain't like, you know what? No, I stumbled. Leave me down here. Don't pick me up. Right? Nah, man. The chosen are ready. We doing this. Right? There ain't no backing out. There's not another life. We already know, like you went over, we know what that life was. I don't need to go back and be a hoe, be a dope head, drug head, pill popper, drunk, no more to realize, you know what? Let me try it again and see if that's going to feed me. Right? Go to Isaiah 10 and 20. Isaiah 10 and 20. Then we'll jump to the last one with that Jeremiah 31. Yeah.
It reminds me of what Paul brought it out in Romans 8.
Uh-huh.
Like who can separate us from the love of Christ?
Right.
Nothing.
Right. It don't supposed to be anything. Right? You said it perfectly. Who can separate me? Nothing. Right? All that these are just hiccups in me learning how to get it better. But there was never an option. I use it like this. It's so simple and so funny. When you were at your job and you had an argument with your wife, then you call in and be like, listen, I can't come in today. Why? What's up? Oh, I just had an argument with my rib. I ain't gonna make it in. Like, who does that? Right? You know what I mean? I'm so emotional right now. I can't lock into work. You ain't gonna lock into the damn check then. Right? But see, you see why if you look at things like that, you realize, damn, I be playing games with the Father. Right? Because you do that all the time with the Most High. Sure. Hey, what's up with you? None. I just today my mind ain't in it. Calm. But if it was an Edomite job, what happened? You'd be like, you come over with massive teeth and everything.
You gonna bite and grin?
Right? Your teeth and every damn thing. You hide it. Right? Then right, you be doing that, you working, then right when you get off work, you.
Right, back to
What's up with you? Life. Right? But the Most High is giving us more. Right? Go ahead, read that.
Isaiah chapter
10 and 20.
Isaiah chapter 10 verse 20.
10 and 20.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Yaakov shall no more again stay upon him that smote them.
Right. We read that one more time.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Yasharah,
the remnant of Israel, us, we, right? Go ahead.
And such as are escaped of the house of Yaakov.
There's a remnant, y'all, that's going to escape. Right? It ain't everybody. Right? Because why? Everybody don't want to escape. Right? They love it here in America. Right? They love it, they love it, they love it. Right? The idea, the comfort, the lies, the dream. Right? Go ahead.
Shall no more again stay upon him that smote them.
You see that? Our people love the person that smoked them with a continual stroke. They love it. Right? But the remnant are like, no, I'm ready to get the hell out of here. What I gotta do? Right? What I gotta do? Right? Go ahead.
But shall stay upon the Lord.
But our stay is what?
Upon the Lord.
We don't want that whip. We don't want that. We don't want to be smoked. Right? Remember, that smoke, that smite is what? That's what they do to us daily. But how many of us like it? The other scripture says that they shall bend over their back all day. They love it. They love this condition. They love slavery. They love the lies. So the Most High got brothers and sisters that got a backbone, that's ready to fight for honor, right? Yeah, man. It's easier to fight with guns. For some people, this life, man, guns ain't involved. It's harder to fight for your brother in the spirit, longevity and forgiveness, and picking your brother up and constantly telling them to move forward, right? It's harder to do it this way. But the point is that the Most High got a remnant, a chosen. Go ahead.
The Holy One of Israel.
Go ahead.
In the truth.
Read.
The remnant shall return.
Right.
Even the remnant of your icon.
The remnant. Look up the word remnant. Look up the word remnant real quick.
Come.
What you got?
Remaining part or quality.
Right. Remaining part or what?
Or quality. That which is left or remains.
Right. See, the remaining part or quality. Go ahead. What you got?
Same thing, but it says a small remaining quantity.
There you go. A small remaining what?
Quantity.
Quantity. We are small remaining quantity, y'all. What you got?
Okay. It says, that which is left after the separation, removal, or destruction of a part.
Check that out. What you got, Tiana? There you go. A small surviving group. Guess what, brothers? Look around, look around. Everybody's not going to survive this. Because they don't want to. They rather the white man spanking them. You know what I mean? They like it better that way. You know what I mean? They can't see any further than what? Right? What is right in front of their face. Y'all see that, right? Okay. Last one. Oh, finish up.
Come. Even the remnant of your icon.
Go ahead.
Unto the mighty Most High.
Go ahead.
For though my people, Israel, be as the sand of the sea.
Right.
Yet a remnant of them shall return.
Check that out. Go ahead.
The consumption decreed shall overflow the righteous with righteousness.
Right, with righteousness. So, remember, we're touching on these scriptures just to show that the Most High ain't doing away with Israel. From the beginning, yes, you had a lot of Israelites that denied Yahushua, but there's a remnant that did not. They were not standing there with the Romans. They did not sell Christ out. They're the remnant of righteous that stood in righteousness. All right, last one, Jeremiah 31.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 35.
No, read up, 31.
31.
Go ahead.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord,
right,
that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
Right, see, the Most High has never disannuled our contract. All he did was renew it. Right? He said the old had to perish so the new can come. Right? Go ahead.
And with the house of Judah.
Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
Read.
Which my covenant they break.
Yeah. And we know what happened when we broke the covenant. But he didn't do away with us. He still had a seed, a remnant, a small portion that was going to be delivered. Go ahead.
Although I was a husband unto them.
Although I was a what?
A husband unto them.
Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
Read.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days.
Right.
Saith the Lord.
We're talking about the last days. So remember, this is just a reminder that the Israelites will never be done away with. You can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth. It don't matter. CIA, Illuminati, FBI, long shark Negro that wants to insert Egyptology, right? A sister that is caught in her own little world and she's going to what? Deny us, plug her ears up. It doesn't matter. The Israelites ain't going nowhere. The Most High ordained it. You cannot fight God. Go ahead.
I will put my law in their inward parts.
Go ahead.
And write it in their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And will be their God.
Right.
And they shall be my people.
There you go. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. The Most High is going to put it in us. Right? See, even though the things that we lack, He's going to put it in us. Go ahead.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor.
Go ahead.
And every man his brother. Saying, know the Lord.
Read.
For they shall all know me.
Go ahead.
From the least of them unto the greatest of them.
And this is the beginning of it. Us teaching our kids, our families, our households. You see, the Most High got a plan. Right? And where we lack, He's going to supply the wants. He's going to put the twinkle. Right? Look, you made it this far, you pushed this far. So that's why y'all got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. We know we're all going to lack when we stand before the Father. But what should not be said is they didn't fight. She didn't fight. He didn't fight. Right? A just man falls 7 times. Right? The only thing that's going to save us is grace. Why? Because the law we fall short, and the works we fall short. You see that? Grace is the only thing in the end for Him to say, okay, I'm looking past your mistakes. And where was your spirit really at? Right? Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
For I will forgive their iniquity.
Go ahead.
And I will remember their sin no more.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar.
Right.
The Lord of hosts is His name.
Read.
If those ordinances...
Like if you didn't know who He was talking about, it's the one that created everything. So if you try to play with His word, you got to think about who you're dealing with. He's not a God that He shall lie. It's not someone you can play with His word. Well, He might not come through with it. That's what the white man thinks. That's what America teaches you.
That's right.
The Lord said He was going to whoop the hell out of us, and He did it. That's like that daddy, you get that ass whooping, do it again. Do it again. Let's see what you're going to get. You played with Him, what happened? You realize what? He was not playing, right?
That's right.
Right, it was real, right? Bruh, your ass don't hurt enough. You know what I mean? Your head don't hurt enough. Right? You don't see around the ghettos, the slums, the jobs, right? The broken homes, but then the men can't get it right, the women can't get it right. You don't see that? Yeah, the mental disorders, you don't see that? That's an ass whooping. And you know it's godly. Because it's like what? Man, this don't stop. It's like, this is an ass whooping that, bruh. Right? Well, read on.
If those ordinances depart from before me,
right,
saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation.
There you go. They shall cease from being a nation. So if those ordinances, the sun, the moon, the stars, if they stop, then that's when we stop. So when Merneptah put on his little stele, their seed is no more. He meant probably, listen, I beat them up. I overthrew them for the time being, because we know the nation did that. But we didn't cease to exist. Right? Like a lot of historians, there was a map. When you go here, it's a map that tells you about the 2 kingdoms being split. And back in the days, it'll give you a timeline. It should give you a timeline. I had one back in the days. I'm trying to find it. This one ain't mine. But back in the days, it split the 2 kingdoms. And on the map, it does all the dates, right? And on the bottom, it said there, and Israel ceased to exist. That's what they put on the map. Why? Because they want you to believe the Israelites have done away with. They want you to believe the Christian lie, which is what? We're spiritual Israelites. No. Y'all see this? But the scripture said we will not. If the earth, the moon, the stars are here, then they're here. Go ahead.
Forever. Thus saith the Lord.
Yeah.
If heaven above can be measured.
Right, and then, why do you think the white man is trying to shoot into outer space? If you let him, he try to fulfill everything in here. Well, if you measure it by the span, and if you look at time, they really are trying to measure the universe. And then have you thinking like, oh, yeah, that's true though. The earth is spinning at 30,000, 40,000 miles per hour. And we got a point, Jeff. Right? He's smart. Right? Go ahead.
And the foundations of the earth searched out beneath.
Yeah. When you find out that everybody's coming out with the information that there's part of the world. Did y'all see that recently? It was in, I want to say Brazil or somewhere, where they found a whole new a forest. Well, no, it was like in either Brazil or...
China, the Single forest?
No. Yeah, I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah, that's...
It was in China? Yeah, they just found it to where it was a whole new dang forest below. Imagine that. Imagine places on the earth that they haven't touched. Right? Yeah.
This is kind of childish, but I think it's in a movie. It's like a caveman family. And the same thing happened, like they were trying to get away from.
Yeah.
And they broke into like
The cruise. Yeah, the cruise. Okay, yeah. Yeah, but that's what they put it in the movies, and then you hear about the ice wall, right? And how that there's so much more behind the ice wall, right? And all these things. What's up?
Yeah, with that, it's one of those world travelers back in like the 1940s or so. They put the restrictions on traveling a certain distance. He used to travel the world, but he said it's land past Antarctica bigger than America. So even when I think about Behemoth, I'm like, I know that's kind of deep, but I'm like, where's Behemoth at?
Yeah, where's he at? Like, we don't just see him on a regular basis. Right? So they have this really large, and it said at the end, now they changed it. It said at the end of this, Israel ceased to exist, but now they tell you here, some of us stayed here, some of us stayed there, right? But they put that out there because they want you to believe that. What I tell you though, there's some white people that believe that what? Salvation is coming to them. They believe they're Gentiles that can be saved. That's why they have this information. Because they feel like they're a part. So the Most High, He could have let them destroy it. You know what I mean? He's using these cats for our purpose, for the chosen. Go ahead.
I will cast off all the seed of Israel.
Right. He said, if you can do that, you can go and measure the top, the depths of heaven and the bottom of the sea. Right? I will do what?
Cast off all the seed of Israel.
That's why, what happens? What happens? The white man, Jacques Cousteau, he wanted to go to the bottom of the sea, but his damn head implodes, and he realized, I can't get that low. They go down with the deepest ship, and they start, and then when they get down that much, they realize we can't go down no more. Because God is not a God that He should lie. He's not going to let you go measure the heavens and the earth and say, man, well, they got me. They got me. Israel, they all line up. Nah, read.
For all that they have done, save the Lord.
Right. So, y'all see that, right? Okay, so the point was with those scriptures to add to the Merneptah Stele was that, no, it wasn't that we ceased to exist or we were done away with. It was that we were there, and guess what? The Egyptians ruled over us, and they conquered us, right? Just like times before. We read that through the scriptures. See, that goes with the Bible. They ruled over us, they conquered us, right? Okay, does anybody got any questions on that? like I said, there's not all that much information in the little packets I gave you. You can go back, read in there, bring out certain little points. You should be making a file. Misha Stone, the Teldan Stone, the Merneptah Stele. You should be making a little file, and then what? Have your little book. You know when brothers used to walk around with the little signs? It'd be little like miniature signs. So when they teach, they pull out the miniature signs. That's how I gotta be. You gotta have this. What's that, sis?
Someone asked, what's the name of the book on Amazon?
So this book is called Rose Book of Bible Charts, Maps, Time, and Timelines. Basically, it's by these people, Rose Book. Look that up. If you go there and you go right to Amazon, you just type in Rose Book, Bible Charts and Maps and Timelines, you'll see it. The 10th anniversary one. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Any other questions? Yeah. Read.
And with this, and Jeremiah chapter 5 verse 6, it reads, "Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities." That leopard, that wasn't Alexander the Great, right?
It was. It was the Greeks. Yes.
It was. Okay.
Yeah, because remember, that goes back to what?
This is the Babylonians.
Yeah, but that goes back to the prophecy that Daniel dropped.
This
right?
is in Jeremiah.
Huh?
This is in Jeremiah.
I know.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that goes back to what Daniel was dropping. Jeremiah is reiterating that who's going to watch over us? Esau. When it all comes down to that latter kingdom in Daniel 7, right? Yahushua had to take out.
God.
Right.
Okay, so perfect.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Anything online? Did we get anything online? Alright, y'all. Hopefully that helped out. I'm gonna say this while we got everybody online. Don't get off. So, we want to start getting the money in for the garments. Alright? Because the sisters, man, they struggled hard last year, the last few months, to get a lot of garments done. Last year, your garment, for a trooper garment, let's just start there. We'll deal with the officers and the soldiers. But you can calculate it. It's going to be around somewhere the same price. So, the trooper garment was $350. We divided from now, July 1st, to December 1st. If you can get the money during that time, it's $58 a month. $58 a month to get your garment knocked out by December. All you gotta do is just put $58 aside, shoot it to the sisters. I'll say it again, don't shoot it to me. Shalom, Shawashana, y'all know how to get it to them. Alright? Please, help us out, help you, because the sisters be struggling. I was feeling bad for them in those 2 months. Right? Why? Because they weren't sleeping. Days up late, right? Con, sisters? Con? Yeah, so we're going to help them out by getting it in early. That way, if they knock them out by December, bro, they're going to have time. They're not going to be struggling to get their clothes done and then running back and all these things. It's too much. So how y'all help out is just put away the $58 and then give it to them. Just shoot it to them and then it'll stack up. Let's say if you didn't have it every month. At least by the time of December, right, it won't be $350. If you got out a whole $200, right, and then December came and it's like, okay, get your money in. You ain't got to pay $350 like that and be like, damn, I got to struggle to get my garment money. Remember, the garment money is for the Passover, the Passover garments. We go together in unity, right? We do like the commandment says. We all dress up in our finest to go to the Passover. That's where that comes from. It's not because we want to, Chaazaqya wants you to look fly. Or, you know what I mean? No, that's ordained. When we left Egypt, we left in our best apparel. All right? So, that's we do this every year. And then at the same time, December comes. If you got it done, when we start asking, hey, we need help with the location and the land, it won't be like, well, I got to come up with my garment. I got to come up with the location and the land. It's like, I don't got all that. You know what I mean? And you let it another year, you let that fall on everybody else. You see that? So, a wise man foresees the evil. Give me those two scriptures real quick. All right, this is Asa's favorite scriptures. This is Asa's favorite scriptures. He loves these scriptures. Read that. Wise man foreseeth the evil, and then he looketh well to his goings. Give me those two. Because we got to think ahead, y'all. We can't just be, are we going to be ninjas till Christ come back? We're going to show up late at the chariots. You know what I mean? How about he said, listen, I'm all the way over here. Y'all meet me over here on this day. We be assed out, right? Israel will show up late for the chariots. They'd be unprepared. What you got?
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil.
A what?
A prudent man foreseeth the evil.
Go ahead.
And hideth himself.
See, you're supposed to be hiding for yourself. That means what? You can't damn have, you gotta look down the road. What do you do in the mall? You looking down the mall. Like, okay, I'm gonna hit that cat up. You ain't waiting until you get up to, hey, what's up, bro? No, you're foreseeing this. If I do this, then this might happen. If I don't do this, this might happen. You're looking. That's what the wisdom of the Most High does. It gives us foresight, right? Sight beyond sight. You understand? That's what the Word does. The Word don't have us walking blindly and just popping up and just showing up and just barely make. We men and women of wisdom now, right? Remember God's white man put a link between your toes, and you're going to fly as angels and rule the world? Okay, that starts at what? Kindergarten. And in kindergarten, you learn to what? Look and see the things ahead of you. Then we can learn how to be gods. You understand that? We'll read it one more time for them.
Proverbs 22 and 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself.
Right. Is that it?
But the simple pass on and are punished.
See, the simple, the foolish, they go on and fall into things that they could avoid. You understand that? You could avoid that, but you didn't prepare. Right? So, instead of buying another pair of Jordans, ask yourself, are you going to be the last guy to make sure your garment is done? Then you got your rib, 75 kids, right? And you're going to want all the sisters to what? Have it on time, right? Right, where's my garment? Where's my garment, sis? Where's my garment? Like, I didn't get the garment yet. The sister's like, look at my damn hands. They bleed. My hands, my back, I have black circles. It's like, these sisters work hard as hell. And you up there like, what? Sis, where the hell's the garment at? And you're right, where is it at? But you got to get, what we're not going to do this year, and I'm pressing this issue, I know, we're not going to do what we did in the last 8 years, which is do it last minute. Come? I mean, it's not me. I'm not doing the garments. I can sit back and do it like I do every year. Like, where's my garment? But I'm trying to speak up for the sisters and see all their hard work and say, hey, brothers, let's come together. Let's help them out. Y'all get that? Okay. What you got?
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15.
Go ahead.
The simple believe in every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
Right, there it is. The prudent man looketh well to his going. Let me look ahead of me. Right? Let me calculate. Let me think. Let me meditate. Right? You got one more?
Go right with what he's saying.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 14:8. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
I know we can do this all day, a whole new class, right? 14 and 8.
Come.
We can do a whole new class, right? But this is it. This is the gospel. It's supposed to lead us like a shining light. Come? Okay. It's not for me. We don't get nothing for that. Some of y'all didn't even pay the garments. Some of y'all paid late as hell. So don't think like, oh, they're making money off of this, because that doesn't happen. I'm one of them. You know what I mean? Like, all these sisters can vouch and tell you. Majority of those garments are, you might as well, if you wanted to add something, add another $50 to it. You know what I mean? So the quality of the garments that you are getting, you know what I mean, and just to get it in early, it's because we care about the sisters. That's all this is about. Y'all get that? Okay. All right. What else do I need to point out? That's it? So this is what we need. We need one of those things with the names on the back where they can put on there and say they paid. They're paid. Something to motivate. I just don't want everybody to forget. You know what I mean? All right. So is that it? And mind y'all, I'm not saying here only. I'm talking about Houston, Rochester, right? I'm talking about all three of our locations. They work hard, all right? Don't want to forget any of those other sisters. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm just talking about them here, all right? So I'll say this again since we got everybody in class. That means this. If you didn't help last year and you want to help this year, work on your stitch game now. Work on your stitch game now. Because Shavashana and Shalamaya is going to make sure you guys get the best. Right? And she's going to be on they're going to be on the sisters' butt to not let mediocre, half-ass, you know what I mean? There's some sisters like, look, I'm done. And they give it to their husbands. Why? Some sisters are new. They haven't passed the mediocre level. They're like, listen, my husband will wear it anyway. He will wear it, but does he really want it like that? With the stitches falling off, the neck is wrong. He'll wear it because he loves you. But is that what type of work you want to give him? So somebody says, man, they come over and be like, look, sis. That ain't it, sis. That ain't it. Like, let me show you. Even me, I look at their work from a distance, I'm like, damn, this is dope. Shalamai Shawashka, I'm like, no, look at this. And I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't even see that. Look at that. I'm like, you're right, they can't get that. You can't send that out. Y'all see that? Which is about quality work. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong to do and have the best. Especially when you're damn paying for it, right? Exactly. So, alright, that's about that. If that's it, let's salute them online. Let's say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see y'all in the morning Shabbat class. I'm Majid Wapanya.
Chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shah and all the brothers and the sisters, cooling out, having fun, drinking yayin with Yahweh Shah.